Jason Pierre Todd was born to Willis and Catherine Todd, where his father would make a living as a paid crook, and after serving a prison sentence, he'll be left with his drug-addicted mother, but will pass away from a drug overdose. Needing to fend for himself, Jason would find the Batmobile, where he would attempt to take parts from the car, but would be caught by Batman, where he would take him in as his second Robin. Jason would soon discover that his mother was not actually his biological mother. After following a number of leads, Jason would track her down, but this will be set by the Joker, where he'll be brutally beaten, where he'll be left with a bomb in a warehouse that would detonate before he could be saved by Batman, where he'll be buried in Gotham. 6 months later, Jason will break out of his coffin, where he'll be placed in the Lazarus Pit by Talia al Ghul. Over the years, Jason will be trained by various teachers in weapons, hand-to-hand combat, and surveillance, eventually teaming up with the villain Hush, where he would track down the Joker and Batman, but would be unable to defeat them, where he will eventually join the Bat family when he's ready. Bucky Barnes was an orphan kid who took part in intensive blackouts training, who would become partners with Steve Rogers during World War II. Throughout the war, Bucky and Steve would fight alongside a group of heroes known as the Invaders. In the closing months of the war, both Cap and Bucky would be presumed dead after an explosion over the English Channel. However, Bucky would be revived and brainwashed by the Soviets. As an assassin, with the help of Steve, Bucky would regain his memories. Following the apparent murder of Steve Rogers, Bucky would take the mantle as Captain America, remaining at this position even after Rogers' return. After ultimately killed by Red Skull's daughter, Bucky would fake his death, where he will secretly return to his role as Winter Soldier. Well, what's up, Winter Hero, with a message that I've been really looking forward to, where I'll be pitting the second Robin, Jason Todd, against the Soviet assassin, Bucky Barnes. Now, much like when Brian at 3 Topics Gamer covered Virgil vs. Sephiroth, this time I'll be going into far more details than what Death Bell did for Jason vs. Bucky. And for my resources, I'll only be sticking to Jason by the end of the post-crisis continuity and his showings during Batman Under Red Hood and its tie-in comic. For Bucky, I'll be taking his showings by the end of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, as well as the Winter Soldier comics, and including his MCU showings by the end of Civil War. So, with that said, let's get the show on the road, starting with our physical capabilities. By the end of the post-crisis continuity, Jason will be a 21-year-old man, staying around 5'11" with a muscular build. After being restored by the Lazarus Pit, Jason is shown to overpower full-grown men, go toe-to-toe with Batman and Dick Grayson, furthermore overpower Tim Drake with ease. Speed-wise, he's able to dodge bullets as well as speed blitz a room of gun-wielding opponents with his melee skills and weapons. As far as durability goes, Jason has taken hits from members of the Fearsome Hand of Four, seemed unfazed after being blasted by an energy beam, and is acceptable to taking damage from blades and gunfire. By the time of returning to the Winter Soldier, Bucky would be 102 years old, but biologically would be 30, staying around 5'9" with a muscular build. Strength-wise, after being enhanced by the Super Soldier Serum, Bucky has stalemated Captain America. He sent grown men flying with a punch and broke metal with a punch. However, this was aided by his bionic arm, which is made for combat. Furthermore, fought several members of the Avengers at once. Speed-wise, he's dodged surprise attacks, cut a nail in half with a knife, as well as blocked and dodged gunfire. As far as durability goes, he's taken hits from a gorilla, Dr. Doom, thrown around by Cap, and hits from Natasha, who sent a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent flying with a punch. Well, never have I ever had to break down two characters that pretty much mirror each other, but one just has a bit more going at him. For strength, due to Bucky being enhanced, sure, the same could be said for Jason when he was restored. However, Bucky has more impressive feats to go off of, but take it with a grain of salt that when Bucky fought the Avengers, they are likely holding back due to not wanting to hurt him, while Jason, on the other hand, fought off Batman, Dick Grayson, and Damian. But even in terms of strength, I'm more favoring Bucky. Speed-wise, I'm going to side of Jason due to him being trained by Batman, so Jason would be more agile, and him speed blitzing a room full of gun-wielding opponents and maneuvering around gunfire lets me believe that he'll be more faster. Durability is a bit complicated. Both have taken hits from physically superior opponents, but I'm slightly siding with Jason due to him being able to take damage from both blades and bullets. But aside from that, despite Bucky being more into his primes than Jason, the best that Bucky has going for him is strength, while Jason is faster and more durable. So I give Jason the very, very slight edge in physical capabilities. Jason carries a small yet effective collection of weapons. Now, under no circumstances I'm a gun guy, so by all means correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I can tell, Jason carries a pair of SIG P226 handguns that carry 15 rounds per magazine and fires 9mm rounds. A knife designed after racial goals given to him by Talia that can cut through armor. A taser, various grenades, and his helmet that is acceptable to taking blunt force trauma as well damage from blades and only broke from a punch from Batman. But if removed, the helmet also has an explosive that will take out anyone in its range. For armor, I'll go on a limb and say that Jason's armor is likely made out of the same material that members of the Bat family use, making it bulletproof. And I'll just like to make it clear that I won't be giving Jason his Venom since it was only a temporarily part of his arsenal. Due to Bucky carrying various guns, I'll only be sticking to the ones that he has shown in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. For long range, he carries an M14 with a holographic scope and a grenade launcher. And from what I can tell, he carries a Glock 45 that fires 9mm rounds and carries a magazine size of 26 rounds, a Scorpion submachine gun pistol that fires 9mm rounds and holds 20 rounds per magazine. He also carries grenades and a combat knife. For armor, what I can tell, Bucky wears tactical body armor, and lastly, there is his bionic arm that can apply superhuman levels of strength that have stalemated Cap's shield to punching through asphalt. However, the arm does have weakness to electricity, and when exposed, will immobilize the arm. After everything I just went over, it shouldn't be a surprise since Jason doesn't have a long-range weapon, he loses this section by default. For handguns, I'll give to Bucky. Bucky's Glock is holding more bullets, and the same goes for Bucky's Scorpion submachine gun. Now, I'm not going to say much, but let's just say it fires twice what Jason's P226 handguns carry. Knives, I'll give it to Jason. It's larger and deals more damage due to being able to cut through armor. For the most part, their grenades cancel each other out, but Jason's smoke grenades would be able to buy him some time. Their armor is pretty much even out. However, Jason's helmet provides extra protection from headshots, so Jason takes it by default. Their extra equipment is pretty much self-explanatory. However, Jason would have to watch out for Bucky's bionic arm, but when he finds out its weakness to electricity, Jason would capitalize on this, but that's only if he finds out soon enough. Jason's helmet would be able to take a hit or two until it starts to turn to time bomb, but nonetheless, when it comes to their gear, I'll give the very slight edge to Bucky due to him carrying the more high caliber weapons in terms of firearms. So I give Bucky the slight edge in terms of weapons. Due to being trained by various trainers over the years and Batman himself, Jason would have an average knowledge on martial arts. As combatant, Jason takes a rush-style offense, preferring to take down his opponents in hand-to-hand combat, but if he's faced off against someone who can match him or physically superior than him, he's willing to switch to his gear to get by. However, one of his biggest weaknesses is his cocky nature, and this is shown during his many fights against members of the Bat family. And as far as I know, the only one he hasn't been is Nightwing. He's shown multiple times to get the upper hand on Batman, but once Batman started taking him seriously, Jason found himself in a tough corner. He's gotten the upper hand on Damian and easily overpowered Tim Drake. So an opponent who can apply more pressure or is bringing enough training to match Jason in an area, they can outlast him long enough to get the upper hand. As a soldier in World War II, Bucky received training from the military and from the Soviets after becoming the Winter Soldier. Bucky would be trained in boxing, karate, Muay Thai, and Systema. Hopefully I don't have to go too into detail, but boxing is taught to incapacitate opponent with various jabs and hooks. Karate is a striking art using punches, knee, and elbow strikes, as well as grapples and joint locks. Muay Thai is similar to kickboxing but teaches a user an elbow and knee blows. And lastly, Systema trains a user in not just hand-to-hand combat, but also knife fighting, grapples, and firearm training. As tactician, Bucky is more of an assassin, but he's proven that he's capable of handling his own pretty well in head-to-head engagement when stealth isn't an option, being able to take advantage of an opponent's openings who had gone through similar training to him. As martial combatants, it is fairly clear-cut. Jason has gotten the upper hand on Batman and defeated most of the Bat family. On top of that, Jason would be overall the better hand-to-hand combatant, since Bucky spent a number of years being trained by the Soviets. The problem with that is that most of the time Bucky was kept in a stasis state when not being trained. to take orders to be sent out on missions. While Jason spent a number of years undergoing various training from different teachers, as tacticians they're polar opposites, but I more favor Jason. At range, Bucky will have an advantage, but if the fight were a cat and mouse game such as Leon's fight with Jack Krauser, Jason will have the advantage due to being trained by Batman, who's basically a master of stealth. And I'm not going to repeat myself when the fight where we get to close quarters. In short, Jason takes an advantage in close quarters. He's better trained in hand-to-hand combat, and in a knife fight, it's basically the same story. So I give Jason the dominant edge in combat skills and tactics. Let's just say this takes place shortly before the events of Under the Red Hood, where Bucky has been assigned to task to take out Jason Todd. Meanwhile, Jason stakes out a shipment for the Black Mask. However, Jason side rolls out of the way in time to dodge a few shots from Bucky's assault rifle. Well, aren't you excited for assault rifles? I was getting bored sitting here. Bucky doesn't say a word, instead unloads a grenade round which Jason dodged, in turn unloads several rounds towards Bucky, who blocks with his bionic arm. Jason gives distance as two trade gunfire. Figuring out this wasn't going anywhere as Bucky was starting to get the upper hand, the two close distance. In a split moment, Jason manages to disarm Bucky of his M14. However, Bucky copies this maneuver and disarms Jason of one of his handguns. The Red Hood lands several jabs. On the flip side, Buck takes the opening to catch a jab and throw Jason into a wall. Buck plays catch up, laying a few jabs of his own, finishing with an elbow strike to his mask. Jason goes for a headshot, only for Bucky to catch his hand, but is surprised when he's overpowered and knocked back with a push kick. The Winter Soldier unloads the magazine before discarding it. Taking his opportunity, Jason pulls a smoke grenade, causing the assassin to take a step back, but is met by Jason, who performs a suplex. The two rebound. This time, the assassin draws his Scorpion submachine gun. Using the same tactic that Bucky used against him, Jason forces the assassin's hand back. However, he begins to push back, but thinking fast, Jason headbutts Bucky several times. Eventually, Bucky releases Scorpion pistol to counter with a hard backhand to Jason's mask that dents in. Hearing the explosive begins to detonate, the Red Hood thinks fast to remove his helmet, chucking it to the side. Seeing it, the Winter Soldier takes cover moments before the explosion. Bucky takes the opening to retrieve his M14 from an opposite corner. Jason tosses a few explosives, who barely able dodges, but is still caught in the resulting explosion that sends him to a lower level of the street. Jason jumps down. In a split second, a knife is thrown to his shoulder. Bucky wastes no time closing distance, striking the Hood across the face, breaking his nose, and unloads several rounds into Jason with his Glock. Despite his armor holding up, he still took some of the damage. Lifting Jason up, the assassin is about to crush Jason's neck until Jason shocks Bucky's arm in hopes of shocking him in the process, but is taken aback when Bucky releases the grip on him. Doing so, Jason acts fast. Just as Bucky is about to go for a headshot, Jason removes Bucky's knife from his shoulder to stab the assassin through the wrist. Jason tilts Bucky's hand towards him before unloading 5 rounds into Bucky's skull, who slumps down against the wall. And with that, I declare Jason Todd, the fallen Robin, the winner. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't sure how this is going to turn out, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. Now, I don't think I'll find anyone who argues that the new 52 Jason would have difficulties facing Bucky, so that leaves his post-crisis version. Now, could Bucky win? And I'll have to say no. Even if Bucky has a home field advantage, sure, Bucky may be stronger and have better equipment. It's basically the same reason why someone like Hunk would lose to Jake Muller. Jake won under the circumstances of his enhancements give him the boost needed to compete, and the training needed to get the upper hand to land the killing blow. Sure, the Super Soldier Serum may give Bucky a boost, but when you're facing someone who as tactician has you beat in almost every way, on top of being more faster and agile. And may I remind you that Jason dedicated himself to fight Batman. As much as I'd like to think Bucky could win, I really don't see this happening aside from getting a lucky headshot when Jason's helmet takes too much damage. And it really doesn't help that Bucky's bionic arm has a crucial weakness to electricity. In order to beat Jason, one must not leave any weaknesses, and if you do, you must be able to make up for them quickly. And only one person has done that being Nightwing. But if you could think of a fair scenario where Bucky could pull off a win, I'd like to hear it. With that said, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter if you care about that, and I'll see y'all next time.
But you're part of the Akatsuki. You will fulfill your missions.
Yeah, all right. I understand. But you! Don't ever try to catch me in a genjutsu again! But just remember, I wouldn't mind giving you a taste of my art.
Leave it at that.
Partner with Datara and go kill Orochimaru.
Who's this Orochimaru?
I'll tell you on the way. Let's go.
That's why we all can carry flowers of hope.
You still care for the Akatsuki.
The red clouds on these cloaks symbolize the unending wars that rained blood down upon the Hidden Rain. A shinobi of the Hidden Rain village. Again, it doesn't belong to you.
Since you're about to die, I shall enlighten you. I was the one who gave Nagato the Rinnegan. Except now, you know the location of Nagato's Rinnegan.
Singing like warriors.